I forgot to mention last episode that Ken was doing his interview with production with his bootsies out, his little feet, his little socks, even outside with Parker playing with the dog. No shoes, just socks. What is this, Yahuja? Hello, my name is Barry, and this is my bed. Do you have chronic bed rot? Welcome! This is where we sit in our bed with our favorite snack and our drinks, and we binge true crime and watch TV or doom scroll on TikTok, whatever your guilty pleasure is. Come to this channel together to discuss. It's kind of why I created this channel, because I had no one to talk to about all my shows, so I come here to find my people. Today we're discussing Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup Season 1, Episode 6. If you're new here, I've done episodes 1 through 5 as well as season 2. So if you want to watch something while I take like a month to put out another episode, I'm sorry. I went from part-time to full-time at my job, and I'm just bored of Life After Lockup. I have a new hyperfixation show. I'm sorry. But I'm here for you. I will finish Gypsy Rose Blanchard for you before I start anything else. I promise. We are going to finish this. I don't really talk about the recap portion of the episode, but I want to point out that in this episode's recap, like the previously on, production put a lot of foreshadowing in this recap. They showed like every instance that Gypsy and Ryan had an issue in their marriage every episode since up to this point, basically. They show the part where she has the homemade video of him flipping out because she confided in someone. They show the two of them on the couch and he's like leaning over her to look at her phone. She's like, "You're hovering." Back to the salon when she's talking to Mia about how Ryan is a hoarder like her mom. Ryan telling Gypsy not to let Mia talk shit on him even though she did. And she just rolls her eyes at him. The part where she says, "I'm not an idiot. I know how to take care of a dog." Because Ryan's like, trying to say, "I'm not taking care of this dog if we get a dang dog. You gotta do it." It's a lot of responsibility, Oh, and the part where they're driving and she's texting on her phone and he like peeps over while he's driving, peeping over, looking at her text messages. She's like, "I'm just talking to my sister." All these different parts they show in this like 30-second recap to show that their marriage is going to the crapper. I really think production knew she was going to leave Ryan for Ken. I don't know. I'm so iffy about if production knew what was going on or not. But I'm telling you, they don't like Gypsy. But basically, they start the episode where they left off in the last episode, like they always do. And they're talking to Ken. He's in Texas. He's all excited. He's all smiles. He tells us he's never interviewed with anybody before, never been on camera before. He's Jonesing. He loves it. The first thing production asks is, "Does Gypsy know you're talking to us?" "Yes." No hesitation, he answers right away. Well, how does she know? Christy should have told her. He says, "Well, I'm sure Christy told her." I don't know. He answered really confidently and said yes with no hesitation. But then we're like, well, then how does she know? "Well, I'm sure Christy told her." It was weird. I think it was giving away that he communicates to Gypsy through Christy. Production asks, like, "Well, is she okay with you talking to us?" And he's like, "Why wouldn't she be?" Yeah, why wouldn't she be? She loves this shit. To me, Ken coming on the show was a non-verbal, like, rise to Gypsy to say, "Hey, I'm coming for you. I'm ready. Let's do this." To me, that's what it was. Why else would he go on the show? Like this flash on screen where production has words that says Ken has never done any interview before. This will be his first interview talking about Gypsy and his side of the story, blah, 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 whatever. Just trying to let us know that Ken asked to be on the show, and we're doing this because we want to be the first ones to interview him. They're doing their job, I guess. Do you think production knew that she was going to leave Ryan, and that they knew that there was going to be that the show was going to end in a divorce? I personally don't know, because I heard that the show is supposed to end with Ryan and Gypsy's wedding ceremony. So this is like a pull the rug out from under them type of situation, in my opinion. She flipped the narrative, rushed getting back with Ken, and then let the whole world know on TikTok that she did it. So therefore, the whole show was ruined because we all knew what happened. I don't feel like production would have wanted that to go down. I don't think they would want us to all know how Gypsy's life ended up after lockup when there was a whole show about it. I think that's part of the reason why they don't like her, because she couldn't keep her mouth shut on social media. There are whole dating shows that will film and then not come out until a year later. And these couples have to pretend like they're not together for a whole year on social media. And they do it. They do it so they don't ruin the show for the public. So we can watch the show and see if they end up together or not. I'm talking about Love is Blind, you know what Gypsy couldn't keep her mouth shut. And this pissed off production. So they didn't really give her a good light on the show, in my opinion. That's why a lot of people changed their opinion of Gypsy because of this show. Gypsy was never Gypsy Rose Blanchard to me, at least not after we got to know each other. She's just Gypsy. Just Gyps. That's it. He awkwardly takes a drink of his coffee real quick. It was just a sip. Like, he wasn't parched and needed a drink. He was just trying to do something with his hands, like to a comfort, soothing thing. Ken says he's trying to think back 7 years as to why he started talking to Gypsy, and he wasn't looking for a girlfriend, which kind of makes me feel, because it was so random, it makes me feel like production asked him, like, well, were you reaching out because you wanted a girlfriend? Like, what was it about? He can't remember, but he knows he wasn't looking for a girlfriend. Like, he keeps emphasizing, it was 7 years ago. I was 24 years old. I don't remember. He just wanted Gypsy to know that there's support out there for her. That's what he says. In my opinion, he's trying to distance himself from why he actually did reach out to her. He doesn't remember. It was 7 years ago. Personally, I think he wanted a beard. You know the term, a gay man who's in the closet still, but he has a girlfriend to cover for him, in a way. Isn't that the term? A beard? Don't they call it that? Oh my god. I'm going to sound really dumb if it's not. And what's a better beard or whatever, fake wife, than one who's in prison that you never have to see because she's in prison for murder? That when you talk to her, when you see her, is all under your control. He says that she would get hundreds of letters like his. And I don't know why she picked me to write back. Like it's some big deal. Like it's an honor to have Gypsy Rose Blanchard pick you to write back to you, Ken Urker, out of hundreds of people. Clearly you haven't read the prison emails either, because you weren't the only one she was talking to. You weren't the only one she picked. He says after letters, it graduated to phone calls, and sometimes they would talk on the phone for like up to 5 hours, which there's been debate online. Like, can you talk in prison for that long on the phone? I still don't know the answer to that. If you can take 5 hours out of your day in prison to sit on the phone, then you don't have a job. Because you can get jobs in prison. You can work and make money and do school and stuff like that. It took her like 4 years to get her GED, right? Something like that. I don't think she had a job in prison. That bitch was lazy. Ken says they never talked about their lingering feelings, but it all came to fruition at their first meeting in prison. So you mean to tell me you didn't talk about your feelings at all, but you chose to drive from Texas to Missouri to meet a murderer that you met in a pen pal situationship? Come on. And we all know the story of the first time they met in prison, where he just like mid-sentence like kissed her, and then they got banned. She got banned from visitations for 6 months. He goes on to say that Gypsy's an incredible person. She's the sweetest person he's ever met. I'm sorry, but is matricide sweet? Since when? Happy Mother's Day. He said he always had a million miles a minute racing mind, and Gypsy always had a way of calming him down. She was a huge part of my life, and cutting ties was extremely difficult. In my opinion, this whole conversation with production is just word vomit for Gypsy to lap up and listen to fall for him all over again. He's manipulating her. And that's how they end the first clip with Ken. Throughout the whole episode, they clip it and then they go back to Ken, and then they'll have another scene and then they'll go back to Ken. So we're just going to go back and forth a lot. Next, we see Gypsy, and she's sneaking outside onto the balcony to smoke a cigarette. But I don't know if she was sneaking. That's just the vibe I got from her movement. She calls Mia, and she's like, did you watch the videos I sent you? And it sounds like Mia just woke up, and she's like, what videos? The ones I sent you last night and this morning. And production shows us the clip to remind us of what video she's talking about. The homemade videos she made of Ryan flipping out because she told the whole world that he stuffed their turkey and didn't pull out. Were there more than one video, or did Gypsy send the video last night? She didn't get a response, so then she sent it again this morning. And then she didn't get another response, so now she's calling her to be like,
did you get the videos? Come on, I don't have time. Watch them. I need to talk about this right now. We're on Gypsy time.
She tells Mia that Ryan had a whole freak out moment.
He's like, you had to do it on camera.
And it sounds like Mia said fair, but you can't really tell because Gypsy starts talking again and interrupts her because Gypsy needs to just talk. She interrupts to say,
I didn't mean for it to be on camera.
He's like, you have to do it on camera. And I'm like, I didn't mean for it to be like on camera. So there's.
And she says the part,
I didn't mean for it to be on camera.
And Mia's like, okay. Like, even she didn't believe her. Like, how could you not mean for it to be in camera when we have a camera in our face? You know we're filming a show, a TV show that's going to go on television. How did you not think, oh, like if you want something to be private when you're filming a television, actively filming a television show, text the person. Even your phone calls aren't private because you're filming. At the end of the phone call, I guess Mia's gonna go watch the videos. I don't know. Ryan's coming back in from walking Pixie because Gypsy doesn't take care of the dog. He comes in to feed the dog too because she doesn't take care of the dog. She comes out from outside real quick and sneaks in and starts folding laundry real quick. And I don't know, it just felt really sneaky. Like she didn't want Ryan to know she was calling Mia. Ryan asks her, so what time are we going rock climbing? She's like, 4 something. Can you imagine Ryan going rock climbing? I don't think they went rock. They did not go rock climbing. I don't believe that man climbed a wall. You cannot convince me Ryan Anderson climbed a fucking wall. He comes over to help her fold laundry and he's like, so were you out there on the phone with Mia? And she makes a face like she got caught. Another reason that makes me think she was hiding and being sneaky. Next, we see Rod and Christy, and they're talking, and Rod's talking about how he wants to get some one-on-one alone time with Gypsy, but he can't because she's got so much going on, and he can't get the words out because Christy keeps interrupting him. She can't keep her mouth shut. She's always got to be the one talking over everyone. She's always got something to say. You can just see the look on Rod's face. She's like, well, you gotta find time to talk to Gypsy. And he's like, I'm trying to talk to you, but you won't let me. I'm sorry, I'm that way. Go ahead, finish. Like, it's okay, you get the point. She's like, no, go on. Nope. And they keep going back and forth. It's just awkward now. Finally, Rod says he's jealous of Ryan. And you, talking about Christy, of the media. She started to interrupt again, but she shut up when he mentioned her, saying he's jealous of Ryan, of you, of the media, because they get alone time with Gypsy, but he hasn't yet. It's funny that he's jealous of media. Like, that's how entwined into social media she is. Which, isn't that a weird word to use? Jealous? You're jealous of your daughter's husband. Maybe upset would be a good word. I'm upset I don't get alone time. And you guys do, and I haven't. I don't know. I'm just hypercritical because of the background relationship of Rod and Gypsy. And then, kiss in episode 2. Christy tells Rod he needs to let Gypsy know his feelings, and he's like, I feel guilty for feeling this way. You shouldn't feel guilty because you were robbed. I got tears in my eyes because I'm hurt. I feel so bad for you. I told Ryan, you've been waiting 2 years, but we've been waiting 8+. When watching this episode in my TikTok live, I think we all thought at first that she was talking about, you were robbed from the childhood with her, and you can't say that because even on the show, he has admitted that he neglected her. He wasn't around. So he wasn't robbed of the childhood. But I think what they were talking about here was that they were robbed of this connection when she got out of prison because she's married now. So she didn't get to come live with them and form this relationship that they missed out on. Like they thought they were going to for years until the last couple years she got married and now the plans have changed. So I think that's what they were talking about. He was robbed of this reconnection out of prison. But I do think it's interesting that Christy didn't say shit. She kept her mouth shut when he said, I'm jealous of you too. Interesting. That's how they end that scene. Next, we see Ryan and Gypsy walking in to go to the rock climbing place. It's called Lake Area Adventures. And they go in. They don't even show the rock climbing wall. I never see it. So I don't believe they went rock climbing. It's just a big bounce house area where they go and they bounce around. production shows them playing and jumping while there's a voiceover of Gypsy talking about Ryan and how much he loves her and how he loves her in a way no one has because he understands her emotionally and he loves me for me and love is worth fighting for. Dun dun dun. Flash forward to a couple episodes. Next episode? Fast forward to next episode, and we find out it's not worth fighting for. She gives up already. Like I said, while she's saying all this, they're bounce, baby, bouncy, bouncy. That's how he says it. Anyway, they're bouncing around, and he rolls over her head. Like, you really got to be paying attention to notice this stuff because people people were watching it on my live and still didn't notice it while we were watching. I'm like, did you see that? He just rolled over her head. They're like, what? I replayed it. And they're like, oh my God, how did I not notice that? It's hilarious. Okay, and then they go to dinner, and Ryan's like, wow, we get the whole place to ourselves. To remind us that in season 1, when they go out to eat, they have the whole restaurant to themselves every time. But in season 2, they don't do that. And I really feel like production stopped footing the bill to the restaurant to say, hey, can we have the whole, we'll buy the whole place out for the hour. Except for Mia. Her and Mia got a whole restaurant to themselves when they went out for pizza in season 2. They get their sodas right away, and Gypsy's like,
Delicious. Are you super mad at me for texting that video to my sister?
a little.
Why?
Because, babe, that video didn't help the situation. Does that make sense?
I don't want to hinder your relationship with my family, but every time my family has reservations about our marriage, they're not in your favor anymore.
Like they ever were. Were they ever? Rod gave him a 50-50 shot.
You had an issue with Christy. You had an issue with Mia.
Well, they question our relationship. I'm a prideful person. I don't butt into their relationships.
Well, they're being protective.
I understand that, baby. I got nothing against Christy. I call her mom. I got nothing against Mia.
What's funny is you say that you love them, but then you have all these snarky remarks like Christy just wants all the attention. You said that when we were literally in the car waiting to come in here.
Like it's some big aha gotcha moment that he said that. But I mean, he was just speaking facts because Christy loves attention. We all know this. It's because we know this because she doesn't shut up. Christy loves attention so much she befriends anti-gypsy content creators and sends pictures of her granddaughter to them so they'll leak them online. Ryan's like, it's just a joke. You know, I joke around a lot.
You do, and I went through that phase when I was 13, and my mom hated it.
There's that number, her favorite age, 13.
Every little sarcastic attitude was, oh, you took offense to it? I was just joking. It's a fallback. It's an excuse.
Part of me feels like Gypsy snitched on herself here. If you really think about what she just said, she would have a sarcastic attitude and her mom would take offense to it. So she would be like, I'm just kidding, but her mom hated it. I wonder what type of things Gypsy was saying to Dee Dee that offended her. Because Gypsy says that Dee Dee was mean and said that she was undesirable and unattractive and all these things. So I wonder if that's the type of things that Gypsy was actually saying to Dee Dee. Because she projects a lot. This could be her projecting what she was actually doing to her mom.
That's why Dad doesn't want to be with you because you're uglier than Christy. Oh, I'm just joking. You took offense to that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't know, just random thoughts of mine. Food's brought out to the table and the waiter's like, here's your chicken nuggets. And I thought that was funny because chicken nuggets is like really childish, but most restaurants they call them they have chicken tenders. They don't serve chicken nuggets. Unless she ordered off the kids menu and then the waiter was deliberately like, here's your nuggets. Some chicken nuggies. They show Ryan outside talking to cameras about when he says that stuff about Christy. He's just joking with all the snide comments, but we all know he wasn't joking because that shit was true. Plus, he talks shit on Christy so much now. He hates Christy. And Ryan caves per usual, and he's just like, alright, I'll stop with the snidey comments.
She's like, we'll see. We'll just have to see, won't we?
Of course, I was focusing on Gypsy chewing the whole time because it just makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. I feel bad because people in my comments have said that like she chews that way because of her dentures. But I mean, that's like partially it. She does have a high palate and she chewed this way before she ever had the partials or the dentures. Next we see Gypsy. She's in the bathroom putting her dentures in and there's a voiceover of her talking about how she likes to wake up early before Ryan so she can put her dentures in before he wakes up. They're still freshly married and they're in their honeymoon phase, so she wants to look good for him. That's her reasoning. But she says that she only lets people she feels comfortable around and she knows really well see her without her dentures in. Meanwhile, she just did it for the cameramen who then put it on TV for all of us to see. She starts pulling pictures out to show production, pictures of her when she was younger, like when she had her first tooth pulled and stuff like that. She pulls pictures out of the tote, the infamous tote, the tote of pictures, the one she called, the cops on Ryan so she could go and pick it up because she left it there and she needed them so badly for pictures for her disgraceful book. Or the tote that she found the prescription pad in that she turned back in and all the idiots went real life on her and called the Walgreens that she went to turn it in and that called the FBI and shit. Yeah, that tote. She tells cameras that her mom told dentists that she was having tooth pain and tooth decay, so dentists decided to extract her teeth. She doesn't continue on and say, oh, well, she was lying, or the dentist shouldn't have done that because my teeth were fine. She doesn't say anything like that. You know why? Because her teeth were messed up. Her teeth were so bad, and I honestly don't fault her for this. There's a lot of people online who are like very pro Dee Dee to the point where they don't want to see any faults in her, and there were a couple things that she did wrong as a mother, and this is one of them. Not teaching her child proper hygiene, taking care of herself, really. She wiped her ass with towels, for God's sakes. And here we are. I mean, granted, the 90s were different, but whenever I had my kid and they asked, does he have milk before bed? And I say yes, they tell me to make sure I brush his teeth because of bottle rot. Bottle rot, bottle rot, bottle rot. I heard this all the time. Like I said, maybe it was different in the 90s, but she should have known. You know what I mean? Like, you're a mother. If your child has to have their teeth removed from tooth decay, that's your fault as a parent. I'm sorry. If my kid has a cavity, that's my fault because I'm not brushing his teeth. I'm not telling him to brush his teeth. He is a child. It is my responsibility. Dee Dee let her teeth get that bad because she was neglecting her dental hygiene. Point blank and the period. Gypsy says that she was given free partials because she had chemo. Is that true? Like, would they just give you free partials, dental stuff because you had chemo before? Does it work like that? Does she really have chemo? Dee Dee supposedly told the dentist that Dee Dee wasn't a vain child, so she's not going to care about her appearance now that her teeth are pulled out of her face. She wasn't allowed to be concerned with her looks. Honey, I've seen the FOIA videos of you talking about how you like to dress like a 13-year-old girl when you were in your 20s. You didn't care about your appearance or your looks. It's not like you weren't allowed to. You chose that. We've seen photos of you out in public just weeks before you committed your crime without your dentures in, without your partials. You went out in public without your teeth in. You didn't care about your appearance. You weren't embarrassed without your teeth.
I don't feel pretty without my teeth.
Well, then what the fuck did you go out in public for without your teeth? Huh? Alright, next we see Christy come to visit in Lake Charles. It's a 3-hour drive from Cutoff to Lake Charles. Gypsy's on the floor. She's playing with Pixie, the dog she abandoned, and Christy's stuffing her face with some fast food that she picked up for herself. She didn't offer to get Ryan or Gypsy anything. She's just sitting by herself. Not like, hey, do you want me to get you some lunch? We can have lunch together. I'm on my way. I'm picking something up for myself. No, not Christy Blanchard. She's not thoughtful like that. Gypsy says that Ryan won't be coming out because he's feeling sick, so he's laying in the bed, and Christy's like, oh, he needs to stay in there. And then she realizes how this sounds, and she's like, he needs to get his rest. Like, completely changes her tone. Gypsy says there's a rumor going around that she's pregnant because people took pictures of her at the hospital. She was just at the hospital with Ryan. He needed to get his chest x-rayed because he's having respiratory issues. He is sick. There's rumors going around. They heard Gypsy say at the hospital that she was checking on the baby. And then they show videos of all these people talking online about Gypsy possibly being pregnant. And then someone's like, and here's a picture of the pregnancy announcement with the pregnancy test and a cake. And I'm like, what? The shit people make up online is ridiculous. Like, the Gypverse, this whole Gypverse thing I fell into is unhinged on TikTok. Christy and Gypsy leave to go take the dogs for a walk, and she's like, Aurora, you want to go swimming? To remind us that her dog's name is Aurora, the same name as Gypsy's kid, which is just so weird to me. I'm sorry, it's just weird. Christy goes on to tell Gypsy that Rod's hurt. He's wanting some one-on-one time with Gypsy, and he's jealous of Ryan. She leaves out the part that he's jealous of her, Christy. I mean, it's Exhibit A. Here we are. Christy's getting one-on-one time alone with Gypsy right now as we speak. Christy says that Rod knows she grew up under a controlling thumb and he doesn't want to come off controlling. And my question is, what is controlling about asking your daughter for one-on-one time? What is controlling about that? I'm confused. Sounds like he's making excuses for why he can't just be a man and ask his daughter to hang out. And the fact that he can't do that makes you think, what's really going on here? This is weird. Gypsy tells cameras that she didn't realize her dad was jealous of the people around her spending time with her.
And I'm shocked that he was, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but scared to let me know these things.
Uncomfortable is the correct word. He's uncomfortable telling you these things. Which I'm just confused by the whole thing, because if my dad felt like he wasn't getting enough one-on-one time with me, he would say, hey, do you want to go out for lunch? Just me and you? On me. Bam! Plain, simple, to the point. Why is there those it's all controlling and I don't want to get hurt. I'm jealous of your husband. Huh? And I'm too uncomfortable to tell you, so I'm gonna have my wife do it. Your stepmom. Fucking weirdo. Christy goes on to say that he just doesn't want to say these things to her because he doesn't want to get hurt.
And he never will be.
What the actual fuck? He doesn't want to get hurt? By telling his daughter he wants to go get lunch with her? I'm getting uncomfortable. Because this feels like a relationship between two ex-lovers. Doesn't it? Doesn't it kind of feel a little icky? It's feeling icky to me. This shit is weird and you cannot change my mind. You can't. You can't.
Well, he's my dad and he needs to learn how to be a dad. Excuse me, Gypsy.
He has another daughter. Oh, he has two. But he does have one named Mia, and she's a daddy's girl, and they have a really good relationship together. So I feel like she would say he's a pretty good dad. So it's just you, sister. It's just you. So what's going on with you two? I don't think the problem is Rod not knowing how to be a dad. I think the problem is this is incestual. Next, they show one of Gypsy's old TikTok videos of her trying to be like an influencer, and she's doing a makeup and story time, and she's talking about supporters and haters online.
The hate doesn't bother me online because I'm pretty secure in who I am as a person. To the supporters, I love you, and to the haters, no comment. Because I'm not going to waste my time on you guys.
She does that thing with her mouth. Ryan does that when he's trying to be all cool talking to Gypsy in her recent videos. I'm the good guy and I'd never take your daughter away from you on Mother's Day. Not me. We all know what's best for you. Team Ryan. Also, while they played this video of her, they popped up blurbs of hater comments online. They never show good comments, supportive comments. Body is tea. We never see that. We only see this shit. Damn, that nose is getting bigger from lying and killing. That nose is something else. And they circled some. Damn, she's got a big nose. And that nose is massive. And this was really like, I think they did this on purpose. All the nose comments to segue into the next scene, which is her going to the nose surgeon, the doctor. Mia comes with them to the doctor's office, which I found was interesting. She tagged along because she wants to get a nose job too. But consultations aren't free, girl. I mean, I guess this wasn't her consultation, but I still feel like she got something free out of this. And Christy made some joke like, can we get a 2-for-1 over here? And this was the only scene Mia was in the whole episode. So she got her check for this episode. Get paid per episode. So if she wasn't in this scene, she wouldn't have been in this episode. She wouldn't have gotten paid. And I think that's a lot of her motivation for being in this show and being involved with Gypsy. The doctor takes some pictures of Gypsy so that they can put it in the computer program to do like a side-by-side of her how her nose is, and they're going to use the editing program to show what her nose will look like after the nose job. And her hair was a mess. And in the picture, you can see this like huge bump sticking up because her hair was in a ponytail. And I just thought that was funny because she's with two people. She's with her stepmom and her stepsister. She's about to get her picture taken, and no one said, "Hey, Gypsy, your hair, why don't you fix it before you get your picture taken?" They hate her. While they're looking at pictures of her nose job, there's a voiceover of Gypsy talking about how she's rushing things because she wants this massive makeover.
Make yourself the best version of yourself so you can disassociate from your past.
Yeah, she said that out loud. She's trying to remove herself from her past by changing her appearance. Girl, you can change your hair, you can change your teeth, whatever, and walk around on the streets, and people are still going to call you a mommy murderer because that is what you are. Not what you were, what you are. You are a killer. And doctor shows her the side-by-side pictures, and he tries to explain, like the eye is drawn to what's abnormal. Like your big ass nose. So people are just going to automatically look at that. So you see that here in this picture. And then in this picture, they're drawn to your eyes. And I thought, is that a stab at Gypsy's eyes? Like, people's eyes are drawn to what's different. So in this one, they're looking at your eyes because those are different. Is he pointing out her strabismus? When the doctor leaves, Mia asked her if she's nervous because, you've had so many surgeries before, and this is your first surgery that you're like taking of your own accord. I mean, yeah, Gypsy said on Dr. Phil that she had 30 surgeries, but she really only had 3. I'm sorry, but someone who is traumatized by malpractice and Munchausen by proxy would not be so amped to go under the knife. Well, she calls it elective surgery.
This is a surgery I'm choosing to have and been looking forward to having. Every other surgery was to take something away, and this is giving me something.
Girl, you're taking away your nose. You're gaining confidence. Yeah. She claims it's different, so it is. After the doctor's appointment, Christy and Gypsy go out to lunch, but Mia doesn't go. She got her pay for the day. She's like, I'm not hanging out with these people no more. Of that. They went to some crepe place, and I thought it was funny that Christy was drinking milk. I drink milk, okay? But I've heard that psychopaths drink milk, and I just thought it was funny because some people think it's weird that people drink milk, and Christy's one of those people that drinks milk. I drink milk. In my defense, I don't drink milk plain. Like, I won't just go grab a glass of milk and drink it right now. Like, I have to have it with cookies or peanut butter and jelly sandwich or breakfast or something. Like, I can't just drink milk by itself. That's weird. I dated a guy. We lived together for years, and he would wake up in the middle of the night and just like go chug milk. And another guy I dated, he had really bad acid reflux, and he'd get heartburn, and he would chug milk to make it go away. I just realized that. Interesting. Anyway, we're not psychopaths, okay? We just like milk. Gypsy's telling Christy that when Ryan's at work that she gets to a point where she can't wait for him to come home and she misses him. And to her, that's a good sign that this is a good marriage. But, and there's a massive but in this case.
The other day, I woke up Ryan and I told him that I miss Can.
Oh, I bet he woke up real quick. Ryan says she need to let that go because you're married now.
I know, but we just need to come to terms with the fact that I have 2 men in my heart.
F your feelings, Ryan. Like, we just have to deal with this now. I love 2 men. Deal with it. And she says she did this the day before Valentine's Day. And Christy gets this little smirk on her face. She got joy out of the situation. How is she talking about how this is a good marriage, but she misses her ex-fiance? It honestly can't even go together. It contradicts itself. The way she dropped Ryan so quickly, you cannot tell me she still had feelings for Ryan at this time. If ever. And I feel like everything she says about, like, I feel like this is a good marriage because I miss him when he's at work and blah, 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 is all just bullshit for the cameras for Ryan when he watches this episode. For $10, you can watch Ryan watch Life After Lockup. I watched episode 3 with him. Yeah, I know. I paid for it. Shut up! I didn't really learn much either, so it wasn't worth it. Nothing I remember, at least, really. Oh, I did learn that when she came out of prison and they had to leave from Missouri really quick, like Missouri kicked her out and she had to go straight back and they had to wait until after the holiday, she couldn't leave the apartment until she met with her PO for the first time. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, that's all I learned. Don't do it. Don't waste your money. Gypsy mentions that 2 weeks before her wedding, she called Ken and she told Ryan what the conversation was about. Apparently, she told Ken, if you don't want me to get married, then you should tell me now. And Ken told her, do what makes you happy. I don't think you should, but whatever. I think you should wait. And she's like,
If he would have said, wait for me,
you would have. I know you would have. Ryan knew about this conversation. I'm sure she sugarcoated the shit out of it. Is he really that much of a simp? He's really? Ryan, really? Come on, man. Have some self-respect for yourself. Golly. She would have waited for Ken. She would have. But if you really think about it, this man is still pining over her after everything she's done to him and left him in the dirt and gotten pregnant and all this shit. So this phone call really ain't nothing, I guess, if you really think about it. Back to Ken. He's talking about how he didn't fall out of love with Gypsy, or it's not like he didn't care about her or anything, or he didn't find someone else. None of those reasons was why he left Gypsy. He had a lot of people in his ear about their relationship, and it was affecting her in a negative context. He says he was hindering her from self-development, and that was what led to their separation. He uses that word, separation, not a breakup. It was a 5-year separation. He says in hindsight, he didn't think that she would find someone else, but he should have known because she's a codependent person. I wonder how being in a relationship with together was hindering her from self-development. Like, think about it for a second. Because when he says it, it makes me think about how I was whenever I was in high school and been cheated on. When you stay with someone who's cheated on you and you're like emotionally not mature, you're constantly wanting that validation and reassurance. Constantly questioning what they're doing, who they're with. And we saw in season 2, she was tracking him. So imagine being a teenager and you stayed with your cheating boyfriend. So you're insecure, you're constantly questioning where he's at. Meanwhile, you live in prison and he lives in Texas. And the only time you get to see or talk to one another is at his control. She was probably going crazy and he got tired of it. Self-development. Keeping her from growing the fuck up. Oh, and then Ryan has talked about how Ken never wanted to have phone sex with her. And he and Ryan always did. And Ryan, you said it like it was a flex, and it's not. It's not. But Gypsy's used to that too, you know what I mean? Like the pay pigs and all that kind of stuff. So she's used to guys just talking to her to probably get like sexual content from her. But Ken didn't. So she's not getting also that validation and reassurance from him. So she was going crazy. There was no like, she didn't feel that physical interest from him. So she was probably super paranoid. He was out hooking up with other people while she was in prison sitting there. By the way, the whole time he's talking, he moves his arms around a lot. He's very flamboyant whenever he speaks. You know what I mean? Producers asked Ken if he was supportive of her other relationships. He's like, no, I wasn't. And I've heard her talk about our relationship and how torn up she was about it. He seems to get a little pleasure out of it. Got a little smirk on his face. He says that Gypsy reached out to him before her wedding and that they have spoke since too, which we just talked to Gypsy and Gypsy made it seem like the last time they spoke was before her wedding, but they've spoke after that. There's that smirk comes back like he just gave a tell-all. So production asked, let's get the record straight. So you and Gypsy don't talk, right? He says no, and they're like, well, when was the last time you spoke to her? And he says right before she got out of prison. Does Ryan know that one?
I made the decision that I thought was best at the time and the environment that I was in and the people that I had in my circle.
Sounds like a bunch of malarkey to me. I just want to point out really quickly that this whole time we've seen them with Pixie, Ryan's the one taking care of her, feeding her, walking her. Gypsy will play with her every once in a while, but that's it. And her whole reasoning for getting Pixie was that she didn't want to be home alone and that she could take care of the dog because she wouldn't be working. She would be home with the dog. But here we are. She goes out for hours and hours all day to leave this dog that's not potty trained at home alone while she goes and gets her teeth fixed and her hair did. which is what we see next, the montage of her at the salon and the dentist. There's a voiceover of her talking about how she doesn't give the love and affection that Ryan deserves because she's so broken over Ken. Girl, it's been 5 years. Get over it. Can't be giving Ryan shit, can you? Saying, get a therapist. It's been nowhere near 5 years for him.
You know, part of me wonders if I had just waited and stayed single after Ken broke up with me to see what would have happened later, but I didn't. I went to a rebound as soon as I could because I was hurting. I love Ryan. I'm in love with Ryan, but Ken had unlocked something inside my soul.
She called Ryan a rebound. I want to watch him watch this episode and watch this part, but I don't think he'll even make it to episode 6. He's already getting so pissed off. Even time Ken is mentioned, Ken's in this episode. Gypsy comes home to Ryan with her new hair. She already has her teeth. She's full blonde, and he's like pawing at her hair. Oh, you look nice. He goes in for a couple kisses, and she couldn't back her head up fast enough. Pecked at. The body language, right? She's gone at this point. In my opinion, her changing her hair to blonde was her call out to Ken, like, hey, are we ready? Are we doing this? I'm blonde now. And he's like, I'm interviewing with production, bet. Let's go.
You like it?
Baby, I do.
4 hours in the chair.
Like I said, she was gone most of the day. Pixie wasn't potty trained. Gypsy literally made him get a dog that he didn't want because he didn't want to take care of one because he knew she wouldn't. And she's like, well, I'm going to be home all day. Here she is, gone to go get her dentures, gone to go get her hair done so she can leave you for another man and you get to come home from work to poop and shit everywhere because the dog's not potty trained. She picks up Pixie and goes and sits down on the couch. He's like, oh, you ain't going to sit by me? Sit over here so I can look at you. Hell, you can see her from there. There's a foot difference. The apartment's small. Come on.
Did she poop skidoo anywhere?
I didn't see any. Well, did you look under the bed? Yeah. Heyo, I bet there's poop under there. So, did you miss me today?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I almost fell asleep in the chair. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you show anybody? Send a picture to anybody?
Yeah.
Really? So I'm not the first person to see it?
You're the first person to see it in person.
Who'd you send a picture to?
My dad and Christy.
Why doesn't she call her mom? I thought she called her mom. What'd they say?
They like it.
Yeah, does your boyfriend like it? She rolls her eyes and laughs. She rolls her eyes and laughs. She doesn't say shit. Crickets. He did good. I'm just joking. She makes that noise and then starts playing with the dog. Self-soothing. So awkward. You can feel the tension through the TV. I got like goosebumps on the back of my neck because I'm cringing so bad watching it. Yeah, secondhand embarrassment. It's hard. I like wonder what it was like being the guy holding the boom mic in the room. She's so focused on like playing with the dog like this and not like looking at Ryan or nothing. He starts making the same motions with his hands to the dog. What do you think, Pixie? You like it? Awkward! And then the scene ends there. Cut to on screen, it says, Gypsy staying in Cutoff with family. Ryan tells cameras that he was asked to stay in Lake Charles while Gypsy goes to Cutoff to see family by herself. And I just wonder who asked him, because I feel like he would have said, Gypsy asked if she could go to Cutoff by herself. But no, he said, it was asked of me. It was asked of me to stay in Lake Charles while Gypsy went to Cutoff. So I just feel like Rod asked. Because if Christy asked, it would have been a different story. Christy's avoiding talking to him because she's talking to Ken. So I think Rod asked. Gypsy couldn't even ask her own husband to leave town. I mean, I think you shouldn't have to ask your husband permission to leave town. But at the same time, she didn't ask him herself, like a grown-up. He says it hurts his feelings that he wasn't asked to go. But he didn't say anything because he's aware of her traumas and triggers. We see scenes of Rod and Gypsy. They go out crabbing, so they're on the boat. They're driving on the boat. He lets Gypsy drive the boat. And instead of... Okay, so he lets her drive the boat. So instead of like stepping to the side and letting her take over the wheel, he just like sits back up on the chair and then straddles her. And she's right here.
Drive this boat.
What the fuck? Just sitting right here.
Captain Gypsy Rose.
Maybe I'm too critical of their relationship because of, the Facebook messages from before the crime. I don't know the contents of them, but we know they were inappropriate. Or the prison emails. Prison emails make me uncomfortable how they spoke to each other. She called her dad pimp juice. He told his daughter about his affair. They're weird. I'm telling you, something is off there. Something's really weird. Anyway, they come back from driving around on the boat and they come back to the trap they left to catch the crabs. Nothing. They took the bait. Rod said, "Dang, Gypsy, you ain't worth shit at crabbing." And she's like, "Hey." She got real offended. I don't know why I thought this was so funny. Just their tones of voices and the way they said it. I would play a clip here, but as you've noticed, I haven't really been playing many clips because of all the copyright going on, and I'm trying to get monetized, but I've been denied monetization 3 times because of reuse of content. So that's why all my old videos don't have any clips in them anymore. If you're rewatching my videos like some of you do, I'm sorry, the clips are gone. Alright, so we got a voiceover of Gypsy talking, and she says,
There are times that I don't know what to say, and I guess it's that comfortability level, and it comes from wanting to have a dad in my life, but not wanting to say or do anything to screw it up.
which if you watch season 2 of my recaps, I do mention how she says this in this episode, and then she does it with Ken in season 2. She avoids talking about certain things with him because she doesn't want to set him off or chase him off. But it's interesting because she picks her fights about serious things and she won't say anything, but then she says she starts fights about,
The hairbrush of an ex-girlfriend.
all right, so they get off the boat and they call it a day, but they want to try to get some crabs. Rod's not happy with his daughter not being able to catch any crabs. So they just set a trap out by the docks and then they sit on the docks and they're just talking for 20 minutes. Rod's like, "So I saw you took down your social media and this show's old. It was filmed a long time ago. So I'm wondering how many times it's been that she's taken down her social media or gave up on social media and came back. Which time was this? The second time? The first time?" She says she doesn't see any point to have people comment on her life on social media. But here we are, how many years later, and she's still on social media. So much so that she's fighting for her social media. Her account on TikTok was banned, and she fought to get it back and got it back. But I thought you don't care to have people comment on your life to be on social media. Rod actually speaks some wisdom. Says she should be off social media because she's using all this mental energy, stressing out about what's going on social media when you just don't have to. It's that simple. You just don't have to. You just get off and log off and don't worry about social media ever again.
I have a right to be on social media. It's my right. I don't want to go my whole life being Gypsy Blanchard, the girl who murdered her mother.
You can't get rid of that. You will always be known as the woman who convinced an autistic man to murder her mom. And now there's all this speculation on how much of the role you actually played in that. You can see her trying to be known for something else. That's why she's trying to be an influencer so hard. And she's going through it to be the influencer of this newer generation. This newer generation of people who don't even know what she's known for. They don't know that she murdered her mom. They think she's just some influencer who collabed with Natalie Reynolds, who does TikTok trends on TikTok. That's how they know Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She's literally trying to erase her history. Rod says, "I don't want you to be famous for killing your mom. No one should be famous for that."
Exactly. I hate the F word. Famous. Do I think I'm famous? No.
I'd rather you be known for surviving than being famous.
I really just want to fade back.
So much for that, Gypsy. You didn't really fade back, did you? You're making waves, girl. Wait, where is that podcast? Because I was thinking that her collab and all her trends and posts she's doing on social media was her version of a PR tour. But I guess a TikTok ban put the podcast on hold? Or is it like Becca Scoop's documentary, non-existent? Rod says that her leaving social media reflects on her maturity. Okay, here we are. How long ago was this filmed? Like I said, not mature because she's on social media still. Just get off social media. Anyway, so next we see Rod and Gypsy. They're doing stuff around the house. He's teaching her how to play guitar.
Nice to have a dad to actually teach you stuff.
I don't know, why doesn't he teach you how to cook? All she knows how to make is Knorr pasta sides. Teach her something useful in life, Rod. She's never gonna play that damn guitar. Here we go to season 2, and she still can't cook an egg. Gypsy, in a voiceover while they're playing the guitar, she talks about how Rod says he named her Gypsy Rose. She's like, my whole life I thought I was Gypsy Rose because my mom and my grandma named me Gypsy Rose. But no, actually, I'm Gypsy Rose because my dad's favorite band is Guns N' Roses. And that to me makes absolutely no sense. Granted, I don't know much about Guns N' Roses and the names of their songs. Is there a song named Gypsy Rose? Did one of them marry or date a Gypsy Rose? How does this have anything to do with Guns N' Roses, is my question. Gypsy tells cameras that she should be on her own 2 feet at 32 years old, but in a lot of ways and experience-wise, I'm still 12 or 16 years old. That's a big gap. I think she was just trying really hard not to say 13 again, because that's her favorite age. Then they show Rod and Christy trying to teach Gypsy how to ride a bike, because Christy can't let Rod have a moment. She's got to be the replacement mom. Rod's telling cameras, like, I missed out on a lot, and I'm just blessed to be playing catch up. You let her go without a dad. You didn't want anything to do with your special needs daughter. Didn't you hear the Facebook messages? That's enough to prove to you that he was a deadbeat. I mean, okay, he paid child support, but he didn't want to be involved. There are messages of Dee Dee trying to reach him when she was in the hospital, and she couldn't get a hold of him. Rod was going to take Christy, Dylan, and Mia on a vacation, and Dee Dee thought Gypsy got to go. He's like, no, she ain't coming. He didn't want to bring his special needs daughter on vacation because he didn't want anything to do with her. All right, and then we see Gypsy and she calls Ryan. She's sitting on the couch, and you can tell by the way she's holding the phone that she called him instead of FaceTimed him, okay? This is important. He asks, what are you doing? She says, I'm about to eat some crab and crawfish and shrimp. Bitch, no the fuck you're not. No, you're not. You just said in like 2 episodes ago that you don't want to try crawfish. Even if someone were to peel it for you, you are not going to eat crawfish. Then season 2, you're looking at a crawfish in an aquarium and you're like, look how cute he is. And you eat that? And eat some crawfish, you little liar. He asks if they can FaceTime. She's like, not right now. Why, is there someone there you don't want me to see? Like who? I don't know. And she gets all mad at this. You told him the day before Valentine's Day that you still missed Ken. And he knows Ken reached out to Christy. You are with Christy right now. I can see why he would ask that. And I feel like she has no right to be mad at him asking that. And I also feel like it's normal for him to be asking for a FaceTime because all season we see her on the phone, she's FaceTiming. She loves a good FaceTime call. The Foyas, those were versions of FaceTime calls they didn't have smartphones. She loves a FaceTime. So the fact that she called on a voice call instead of FaceTime was probably like a yellow flag to him. And then whenever she denied giving him a FaceTime, then that's a red flag. And he's like, red alert, red alert. So they're talking and she's talking about how she only caught 3 lonely crabs, and the cameras pan out so you can see her sitting on the couch, and then there's family photos on the wall behind them. She's not in any of them. And I'm like, burn. Shoot, I mixed up the order of the phone call. So they did all this chummy talking about crabbing, eating crawfish, and all that kind of stuff. And then he asks for a FaceTime call, okay? He asks again for a video call, and she says later. And he's like, why? Is there someone there you don't want me to see? And she's like who? I don't know. And she gets mad and says, okay, I gotta go. And gets off the phone with him.
She's like, sometimes it's really nice not to have him around.
And that's how the episode ends. She hates that man. And it only gets more apparent as the season ends. We got 2 episodes left, y'all. I promise I will finish this series before I go on to my next show. Thank you for watching. Bye.